Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Grace, and if you are returning subby, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So this is the part 3 and final part of the How I Joined a Korean Cult story time. Okay guys, I would like to pause here. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, please go and watch those before you come to this part so that you are not confused about what I'm talking about. So in today's video, I will be addressing some of your questions. Like there is someone who asked me what my perspective is now since I have left the cult, how I realized that I was in a cult, and if my dressing code changed to modesty. There was a question like that. I don't really understand the question, but I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. Additional to that, I will also be addressing the tactics that they use within this cult to keep the members in the cult, and finally how I left the cult. So yeah, so if you're interested in watching the rest of the story time, stay tuned. Okay, so before we move on, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure that you do subscribe. And I also just want to say thank you for your engagement in my videos. Thank you for your comments, and I haven't gotten the time to respond to each and every comment, but I will try to make time the following weekend. So the day today is the 3rd of March, and guys, I wanted to film this video, edit this video, and upload this video this weekend, but I wasn't able to. I was supposed to get my hair done, and then I was supposed to get my hair done on Saturday, and then I got sick. I was sick Friday, Saturday, and Friday I didn't even go to the hospital for my rotations because I was sick, and then Saturday I was just also sick, so I didn't end up going. So Saturday night I had to do my hair, so that took a while because I had to take out my braids, wash, and everything. So that took a while, and then and then there's like other things that I needed to do during the weekend, plus making sure that I'm resting, I'm healing. So a lot was happening, and now it's Sunday and it's 3 minutes to 8, and I have a treatment plan due. Guys, but anyways, without dragging this video, let me get into the story time. I don't even know where to start. And every time I tell myself that I'm going to be organized, I'm going to prepare a script beforehand so that I don't forget anything. But guys, guess what? I don't have the time to do that. So if I keep on saying that I will prepare, I will keep postponing it, and then I will not end up shooting the video. So let me just get the camera in front of me and let me start talking. But I did write down some of the points for the tactics that they use because I will not be able to remember all of them. Let's start with the tactics that they use to keep the members in the cult. So there is a lot of tactics, so I will just go through them briefly. But if you want to go into more detail, I will leave the link to Laurie's channel. Laurie explains those things in detail, in great detail. He has great knowledge and he read up on and studied a lot about this topic. So if you go to his channel, you will be able to understand a lot and you will be so intrigued, guys. I promise you that. So the first tactic that they use is deceptive recruitment, guys. So basically what they do is that they approach people in universities or shopping centers, and they don't, well, recently they have been saying that they're Shinchonji, but not upfront like that. They will give you like a flyer and then you read there is Shinchonji there. When I was in center class, they didn't tell us that they were Shinchonji until it was time for us to pass over. Recently, what I have been hearing is that sometimes they are upfront about it and say that they are Shinchonji. So basically what will happen is with the deceptive recruitment, what will happen is they will go to universities and shopping centers and they will approach people. And once they approach people, it's either they need someone to fill in a survey for them. So this service is basically mostly to collect people's information so that they can be able to contact them, or so that they can also determine if this is someone that can be like harvested. Harvested meaning be brought to the cult or to the church. And one of the things that were like determinants of whether someone can actually be, harvested or not was them having the knowledge of what a cult is. Guys, if this was not a red flag, I don't know what was. And we just ignored it. So there was something called an EV diary. So an EV diary is where you fill in the information of the person that you want to harvest, bring to the cult, that you want to EV, right? Evangelize, short EV. So, and one of the criteria was, do they have knowledge of, do they have an awareness of what a cult is? And if it's a no, then that's good. You can go ahead and harvest them. So, and the way I used to reason it when I was in the cult was that, okay, maybe it's just because that, people call Shincheonji a cult, just like how they called Jesus a cult at the first coming, because they don't really understand the word. So if we also have the knowledge that someone has an idea of what a cult is, they might think that this is a cult. Guys, I know it's it sounds crazy right now, but when you are in there, you won't think of it like that, man. Oh yeah, that's, that was a red flag. And to us back then, and to people who are in SJ, it looks green, colorblind. But anyways, so then they will offer like the service. They will be, asking people for help to fill in a survey. And sometimes you would say that, like, I'm conducting a research and I just want information on blah blah. And one of the most used one was COVID, and how your beliefs or your faith was affected by COVID. And then another one would be free seminars. We are doing a free seminar on the Bible or on faith. And sometimes the one that I also used once was joining sort of like a youth group or like a yoga group. Guys, I used to do yoga so that I can attract people to this place. So like we would do yoga and befriend the people, and through yoga we must like form friendship, and then that's how like you would harvest or EV someone. And guys, I would like to take this moment in all seriousness and really apologize if I ever approached you, if I ever invited you to a yoga session or a group or a seminar, or if I ever taught you with, under the umbrella of SHA. I really apologize. I thought I was saving your soul, guys. I'm sorry, I have to laugh, because if I don't laugh, I will cry. I will really cry. But honestly, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I thought I was doing this for the Lord. I thought I was, like saving people, like really bringing someone to life. That's what I thought I was doing. Unknowingly, I was inviting people to a cult and I didn't know. And I really apologize from the bottom of my heart. And this is why I am making these videos, to bring awareness and to try and correct my actions as well, and to bring awareness to this place so that a lot of people don't fall for this too. Okay, so the next tactic that they use is the Bible studies. So they go under the pretense of their Hope Church. So most of the branches here in Southern Africa are called Hope Church. So the Hope Church, they will be advertising this free Bible studies, come master the Bible and stuff like that. So also what happens is that the Bible studies, they initially appear conventional, like common Bible studies, but just that you have someone who's teaching you. They use these analogies to really like help you understand the Bible, and it makes a lot of sense. Then basically only later they gradually introduce you to their own unique beliefs, you know, the weird beliefs that they have. And then also another tactic that they use is isolation. So I will speak about isolation in connection with another tactic, which is the us versus them mentality. So basically the us versus them mentality, what that means is that they actually believe that Shinchonji is the only place where the truth is. So it's the they used to call it the new heaven. So then every other church or every other believer that is not in the church or is not part of the church was considered what did they used to call it? It was considered Babylon. It was considered Babylon. Babylon means that God's spirit is not there, and it means that the truth is not there, and it means that, you know, those spirits, the spirits of people that are in Babylon, their spirits are dead. And your spirit can only be revived and come back to life if you are receiving the truth from where? From Shinchonji. So the us versus them mentality is what it meant SJ versus Babylon. So yeah, so basically you had to consider the people that are in SCJ, your spiritual family, more important than your earthly family. Do you understand? Like if some of your family members are not in SCJ, they were considered the earthly family. If they're in Babylon, everyone there is like, you know, earthly. And what was more important is your family in SCJ. And so that also meant that you couldn't have earthly friends, you know, you couldn't interact a lot with the people from Babylon. They were called Babylonians. They will you know that Bible verse that says like you cannot sit with mockers. Psalms 1 verse 1 that says that blessed is the man who works not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. Those who associate themselves with mockers are cautioned against following their counsel or adapting their ways. So basically you couldn't spend a lot of time with the earthly people or the Babylonians, because later on what will happen is that they will change your ways, or they will change, you know, like they will change you. So you must basically associate yourself with the people from SCJ, because you guys, you know, they are the ones with the water of life. I don't know how to explain anymore, like any further, but like I hope you understand. So there was a lot of isolation. You were basically isolated from your family, you were isolated from friends, and the people that you surrounded yourself are those people from SCJ. And yeah, and obviously also people like in Babylon, or like the earthly people. Sorry guys, I'm just saying that I'm just saying that so that you guys understand, okay? I don't subscribe to these beliefs anymore. But yeah, basically you couldn't hang out with people from Babylon unless you want to harvest them. But then obviously also people from Babylon, they wouldn't understand your schedule and your weird beliefs and what. So what happens at the end of the day? It's isolation. And you spend most of your time with people from SCJ. And like I said previously, that I came here for school. So home is, you know, Kakarara. So, and I couldn't go back to Kakarara as often as I wanted to. I couldn't spend a lot of time with my family as often as I wanted to, because I had to attend service twice. I had to teach the Bible. I had to attend trainings, and I was responsible for other people's faith work. So it was a lot, and that basically caused isolation and the fear, you know, like not being understood by your own family or your friends or Babylonians, because they are not in SCJ. So that created a sense of isolation. So the next one is intensive trainings, guys. I think I also mentioned this in the previous video. So basically with this came like a significant time commitment. We used to spend hours and hours in trainings. If it's not training, you are meeting up with your leader. If you're not meeting up with your leader, you are having a prayer night. If you're not having a prayer night, you yourself, you are a baby teacher. Baby teacher means that you teach someone before they go to sender. If you are not teaching, then you are in sender maintaining someone. So you are in the Bible study, the bigger Bible study, making sure that the person that you are maintaining is like, conforming to the ways of SEJ. So yeah, guys, I kid you not, I used to get, if I get 5 hours of sleep at night, that is, I am lucky that day. I used to get, for most of the time during the week, I used to get 3 hours to 4 hours of sleep, and if I get 5, that is my lucky day. So during the weekend also, there was little time preserved for yourself or for your family, and most of the time was dedicated to SEJ, guys. There was literally no time to question anything. That's how busy and occupied we were. And so that is another tactic, guys. You literally don't have time to even think, rationalize things, question things. There isn't time to do that because all of your time is taken. And if you have time for yourself, you are either trying to eat, to cook, or to sleep, or to try and catch up with schoolwork. So yeah. And another tactic that they use is, again, secrecy, not coming forward at the beginning that they are SEJ. Everything is so secretive, guys. It's so secretive. You're not allowed to share what you are studying with the people that are not in the cult. You are not allowed to, when we were in Sender, we were not allowed to take our Bible, like we used to handwrite the notes in this handbook. You're not allowed to take that with you. If you needed to study for a test, you needed to come in, make arrangements, come in so that you can study. Guys, there is this one is, yo, this one is the major one, love bombing. I did touch on it in the previous video, where they basically just love bomb you. You feel so nice and so special, and like, that is at the beginning, by the way. They love bomb you. Now imagine if you come from a background where you didn't receive a lot of love. When you come to this place, you are like, oh my god, like, this must be heaven. These people are so full of love and gracious, and it's love bombing. Red flag. If you come to a place where you feel like it's too good to be true, where you feel like you are just loved beyond reason, especially at the beginning, guys, run. Do not walk, run. Even in relationships, hey, run, guys. The guy must not be telling you I love you on a second date. Run for your life. Then another one is the fear and the guilt tactic, and that's the one that like takes a toll on people's mental health, guys. So people in these places, in this cult, they walk around like they are the most happiest people. They don't have problems. God will take care of their problems. They portray this fakeness, because trust me, in those places, this is the places where most people are fighting mentally. They have the worst health. They are stressed, and they are, guys. So when I was in this place, I was morally, I was conflicted a lot, and there was a lot of shame, there was a lot of guilt that basically led to my mental health going. And that's when I started questioning things. Okay, I'll get into that. So the group may use fear and guilt as motivation to keep the members in line. It involves instilling the fear of negative consequences once you leave the group. One of those consequences was that you will go to hell, because obviously if you leave SCJ, this is where the new heaven will come to. SCJ was is. SJ is basically referred to as the new heaven, right? So if you live, where are you going? You are going to Babylon. You are going to where your spirit is going to die. And what will eventually happen? You will go to hell. Because there is no God in Babylon. There is no God elsewhere. God is only at SCJ, because that's where the truth is. That's where the promised pastor is. So, and guys, who wants to go to hell? Who wants to go to hell? Nobody wants to go to hell. And that is like the scariest concept ever, right? So yeah, so that is one of the tactics that they use. And then the guilt, if you don't get anything done that your leader is asking you, you are basically shamed. You are filled with guilt. You are told that you don't love God enough. That's why you didn't get it done. And mind you guys, you get little time to sleep, you get little time to do anything else in your life, and you are still being told that you are not doing enough. Like, what do you mean I'm not doing enough? You want me to sleep 1 hour now or what, so that I can do everything? So morally I was conflicted in that sense, that I was like literally doing the best that I could. My efforts were not awarded, and one of the justifications that they give is that you're not going to be awarded now. You are going to be awarded when God is here, when everyone is receiving a reward for how much work they have done in God's kingdom. That's when you will be rewarded. And and what else? Yeah, and there was always a high expectation to always try and match. Because if they see that you are doing well, if they see that you are like getting things done within the position that you are at, for example, let's say you are a group leader and you are getting things done, you are, meeting their expectations, they go ahead and give you another bigger title. And that could be like becoming an imonym. An imonym is basically responsible to a few groups of okay, let me explain it like this. A Gyokshanim is responsible for one group, right? Where there is like maybe like 4 members that a Gyokshanim is responsible for. So a Gyokshanim is a group leader. And then an imonym is responsible for maybe, let's say, 5 of those smaller groups, right? Yeah, so that's how they would like raise their expectations. And every time you are good at something, they give you more duty, and like it could never become better than that. I'm trying to explain it. I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying. With every expectation, there was a higher expectation to meet, and nothing was ever good enough. You could always do more. So your efforts were basically not recognized, and you were filled with guilt. It was like you could never do anything right, and you always had to earn your place in God's kingdom. Always pushing yourself, always. It's like trying to meet this unclear criteria for you to be in the kingdom of God. And it was so crazy. Like, I don't know how to better explain it, but this is the best way I can explain it. And that morally conflicts with you, because I am someone who was always like a go-getter. And I think I lost that part of me when I joined this club. Like I would always strive to do my best. I would always strive for 80-90%. But in this place, like, that was not good enough. And what will eventually happen is like, you just try and do like the best that you can at this point. Like a 50 is enough. I mean, there's so much that a human being can take. Let me just say that. And in that, there was so many burnouts, because mentally you know what you're capable of, but the conditions that you are placed in are not allowing you. So this is in terms of my academics and my faith, being at SCJ. So these 2 things were not aligning. The expectations of myself, the expectations placed upon me, and the conditions that I was placed in. And I got into like a bad place. I lost myself. I got very depressed. So I hit rock bottom, and I think it took me to hit rock bottom to actually open my eyes. It was like a veil was lifted up. So let me go into two other tactics that they also use to keep the members inside the cult. So one of them is the social pressure. So there's this social pressure to conform to the beliefs, the values of the group, or to conform to the norms of the group. What also happens is that in the center classes, 50% of the class are people that are already in SCJ, and 50% is people that have, have just joined for the first time. And basically, the people that have joined for the first time are told that, like, everyone is just joining for the first time except the teacher and the instructor. So if you are an SCJ member in a center class, you are under this pretense that this is also your first time. And also because you are in SCJ, you already know how, you should behave to influence the new people so that they can come to the cult, to the church. Sort of like agreeing to this weird unconventional beliefs. And so there is, if you are in a class and 50% of people are agreeing to something, you basically also end up agreeing, because the majority is agreeing, so that should be right. So that's sort of social pressure that you are placed in. And also there are also group dynamics within the church. So they create this sort of like community with their own beliefs and value system. So within that, you experience the social pressure of like pleasing this group, that the members are influenced by this group dynamics, so letting them to basically conform to their expectations, and also just agree to anything, even though the members may have reservations. Because if you were not like, I almost want to say that you're not allowed to question your leaders, but also in the place they were like, oh, you can ask questions, but if you asked a weird question, it was considered as, oh, you are planting a seed of doubt in other members or in other people. And so it created this environment of almost like you cannot challenge teachings. It's like you are challenging God. You cannot ask weird questions like, then what's wrong with you? You are the problem, not the teachings. And then the other one, second last one, is charismatic leadership. So like I told you guys, SUJ believe that there's a promised pastor that God has appointed at this place to basically lead the world to God. Just like how there was a promised pastor at the first coming, there is a promised pastor at the second coming. So the promised pastor at the first coming was Jesus, and now at the second coming, the Spirit of Jesus is using a promised pastor. Yeah, so charismatic leadership is like one of the tactics that the cults use. Guys, I have seen all of these tactics that they use there. Now go and Google a cult and the characteristics of a cult. You will find all of these characteristics listed there. Nah. Oh yeah, guys, another important one is members are taught to view the leader, the promised pastor, as the only person with the interpretation of the Bible. Yeah, and who God's Spirit is working through. I hope that by explaining these tactics that you understand, that you empathize. Okay, as I say that, I thought about another tactic. Or let me say another reason why members stay in these cults. So, do you guys remember when I told you that I left medical school and studied something that was less pressure, which is what I'm studying now, occupational therapy, so that I can have more time for God? So there is literally a lot of people in this cult that have left school, that have left their work just so that they can be full-time members. And I think I did touch on this in the previous video, guys. I'm so sorry if my videos are all over, but I'm trying my best, because this topic is huge. It's beyond me. So the group members, they sacrifice a lot. And if you read in psychology, if you sacrifice so much for something, it's hard for you to live. It's hard to have a mind shift to actually realize that maybe I was sacrificing for the wrong cause. It's sort of like a protective mechanism that the mind has. I don't know what the correct term is in psychology. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so it says here, cognitive dissonance refers to the discomfort or tension that arises when a person holds conflicting beliefs, attitudes, or values, or when their behavior conflicts with their beliefs. So in this case of members basically staying in cults, is that they have sacrificed so much that their mind create like sort of this protective mechanism that leads to confirmation bias. So where it basically has selective exposure or looks for evidence to confirm what it already believes in, even in the eyes of conflicting evidence. I hope that explanation made sense. But if you want to understand this more, please go read on the psychology of cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias. So basically, yeah, that is the trick that the mind plays. I don't know if it's a trick or what, but the mind, there is just discomfort and tension that a person feels in the light of conflicting evidence that I have sacrificed my whole life. I've sacrificed 3 years, 7 years for this. So surely this must be the truth. And what is happening is that there is selective exposure. The mind is only looking for evidence to confirm what it already believes. So in, like, for example, the people in SEJ with selective exposure, they do not look for sort of conflicting evidence that SEJ is probably not the place that they think it is. Anything else that is going against the teachings of SEJ is seen as, or criticism itself, it is seen as persecution. It is seen as something from the devil. And also when you are in SEJ, you are they control the amounts of information that you have access to. So that is also another tactic that I forgot. So you are not allowed to Google SEJ. You're not allowed to listen to the word from any other place. You are not allowed to read up anything about SEJ online that they do not give you permission on. So if you Google on Google, or if you even ask ChatGPT what SEJ is, they will tell you SEJ is a cult. There's a lot of people who criticize SEJ and that have written lengthy articles, that have made videos about SEJ, calling SEJ a cult. And SEJ, they view that as persecution, that the devil is attacking God's work, because the devil is not happy that God is now spreading his word of truth. Yeah, guys, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you being in a cult is like really beyond you. There is a great deal of psychology happening. But yeah, guys, so it's even new thing about it. If you sacrifice 7 years for a relationship and now you have to leave that relationship, you guys have built together, you guys have, I know it's not the same thing, but it's the same concept. You guys have built together, you have sacrificed a lot for this relationship, and now you must leave. It's hard. So it's the same concept. If you are committed to something for 3 years, for example, your mind is gonna fight against it. because this is what you know. This has become your home. When we be where are you going? Where are you going to start? Now imagine if you had a job, if you had a car, if you had a house, you sell your house, you sell your car, so that you can become a full-time member, so that you can live, close to the people of God, but they don't sell houses here. I'm just giving an example. They don't sell cars also, but what they do is mostly they leave their jobs, they leave school to become full-time workers, to dedicate their full-time to the Word of God. So that is it when it comes to the tactics that they use, or how I managed to stay in this place for 3 years. Crazy, mind-blowing. I know, like the red flags were there. For me, they were green. They looked green. Yeah, guys, I can laugh about it now, but when I left SAJ, my whole world was turned upside down. Actually, not when I left, when I found out that SAJ is a cult. My whole world. Do you guys understand what it means for your whole world to be turned upside down? And from that moment, it felt like my whole life was a lie. That's how it felt. My whole life is a lie. Like, what the actual hell? What is actually true? What is not true? What is real? What is not real? So these were all the questions that were going through my mind. But actually, how I came to the point of realizing that SDJ is a cult. So like I told you guys, I was conflicted a lot. I knew the potential that I could have, the things that I could achieve, but I wasn't going anywhere in this place. I wasn't growing. According to them, I was growing spiritually, but in my personal life, in my school life, I wasn't going anywhere. And studying occupational therapy also exposed me to a little bit of psychology. And that little information of psychology that I had made me question a lot of things in SCJ. And also because I was getting very little sleep. I was probably not even getting proper nutrition. Guys, I think I came to a point where I got depressed. I couldn't take it anymore. I got very numb. I didn't want to do anything. Getting up in the morning, guys, was the hardest thing ever. Like, I just didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to lay in my bed. And it came to the point where it felt, my life just felt horrible, man. There was no satisfaction in anything anymore. There was no pleasure in nothing. I was doing things to just get things ticked off. And it also came to a point where I didn't recognize myself outside the group. I think those were the things that were happening. And I used to have a lot of breakdowns. I used to cry a lot. Because either I couldn't take it anymore, or I was overwhelmed, or I was burnt out. Guys, I don't know how I survived those 3 years. And even with school, I don't know how I passed school. So one of the things that they also sort of shift in your mindset is that there is nothing else that's important than the Word of God and doing the duty that God have entrusted you with. Meaning that you don't prioritize school anymore. You don't prioritize yourself anymore. You don't prioritize your family anymore. For me, the most important one was school. Basically, you were told that this is just Like you are just doing it as wisdom, as a mask, so that people at home can still know that you are at school, so that people at home can still allow you to live in Windhoek, so that you can still have a place to live in Windhoek because you are going to school. But at the end of the day, school is not important. And someone who was a dark slender in grade 7, I have basically studied my butt off wherever I was in life, whether it was in primary school, whether it was in high school, to get to where I was when I got into School of Medicine. I was that person, the go-getter. Like if I set a goal for myself, this is the goal that I want to accomplish. And like I was so driven, man, guys. I don't know how to explain anymore. I was so driven, I was so motivated for my future. But once I was now in this place, all of that motivation was dirt. Now at school I was doing my bare minimum, and I can even imagine like my lecturers, they probably thought like, we know you can do better, but like what's happening, you know? But yeah, so I lost that part of myself. Nothing else was more important than the word of God. So I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't paying attention to school. I wasn't, spending time with my family members. And yeah, that's when things took a wrong turn, a dark turn. And I got depressed, and I was just suffering, man. I was suffering internally, externally. I was not in a good place. And that's when I started questioning God. I was like, God, why must I suffer like this just to be in your kingdom, just to avoid hell? Why did you even create hell in the first place? Like, why am I suffering like this? Why is that what I'm doing is not enough? And this questioning God led me to question my faith. It led me to question the Bible, not realizing that what I was questioning was the wrong thing. I needed to question the beliefs of SCJ. I needed to question the place where I was at, which was SCJ. So that eventually led me to questioning SCJ. And when I started, guys, I remember vividly the night I started questioning SCJ. I was sitting on my laptop and I was preparing. I was basically a piece. I forgot what my title was, but I was also working at HWPL. So HWPL is a sub-organization under SCJ, and I was, their purpose is to spread peace. Peace education. Yeah, so I was responsible for peace education for the country, and one of the duties that they gave me was to make sure that peace becomes part of the curriculum of the schools here in Namibia, the peace education. And obviously they would give the materials to the schools. And yet I was struggling in that department as well because it was a lot. And so I was preparing the slides and I was so exhausted. I think the next day we were gonna meet the deputy director of education, something. I forgot, guys. But I was going to do a presentation on why we need to install peace education in the schools here in Namibia. So I was on my PC preparing for the presentation, and sometimes what will happen is I will look for promotional videos about HWPL on YouTube, because HWPL was quite open on YouTube and there were like a lot of promotional videos. So I was here, searching for promotional videos to put in my PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to present to deputy director, or was it deputy director, deputy something education, guys. Please forgive me, I forgot. Like, I place all of these things behind me. Nay. Here I'm typing, looking for promotional videos. What pops up is Lori's video. And mind you, at this point, I have been questioning SCJ. Nay, I have been questioning my faith. Lori's video from his channel where he speaks about SCJ pops up, and it's titled what I think how or why I left SCJ, or my SCJ journey, something in those lines. And I was like, I wonder why. I wonder if you also questioned SCJ the way I'm questioning SCJ right now. I wonder if you had the same struggles that I'm having right now. And guess what? That led me to click on that video. And once I clicked on that video, that was when like a veil was lifted off me. My eyes were wide open. There was no turning back after that video. I was like, huh? Hi. Hey, I'm in a call. Like how? Huh? No ways. No ways. So after I watched this video, I went online and I started searching for what is a cult. Guys, mind you, at this point, until this point, I had no idea what a cult is. I had no idea that a cult exists. No, I'm lying. No, I'm lying. I had an idea that cults exist, but I didn't understand what cults are. And I heard around that people called SDJ a cult, but I had no understanding of what a cult is. So I started searching for what a cult is, psychology of cults, characteristics of cults. Tell me why, when I read and watched videos on the characteristics of cults and high control groups, SDJ ticked each and every box. Ticked each and every box, guys. So that night, that's when my whole world was turned upside down. I was sobbing, I was crying, guys. I was terrified for my soul. I was so scared. I was questioning everything. I was questioning my life. I was questioning God. I was questioning the Bible. And so I contacted my leader, my imonym. So imonym is, like I told you, is responsible for the smaller groups. So meaning he's also responsible for Egyokshanim, which is the group leader, which was my position. Yeah. So I contacted him and I'm like, I think SCJ is a cult. We are in a cult. And I have just realized that this is a cult and like I want to leave. Please help me. Like, because I was so terrified. And I thought like these are just persecutions and this is Satan using me. I was so terrified, guys. And then Malita came and met me. And the things that they said, the justifications, by that time my eyes were open. I was like, you don't make sense. None of this makes sense. Like, I asked my questions were not answered. You know, it's like this person desperately trying to reconvince me of the teachings of SCJ, but I'm like beyond that. It's like this code, and I'll put it somewhere here, that the code here. And that's basically what happened with me. Like, there was no going back. I was like, hi guys, this is a cult. We are in a cult. Yeah. And then from there, after my leader left, after he realized that there was no convincing me anymore, he was telling people that I have become an atheist. I don't believe in God anymore. I don't believe in the Bible anymore. So basically what happens is that they start attacking your character. That will eventually lead you to being excluded and banned from the group. So in extreme cases, but not in my case, however, members that were in contact with you from the SCJ cult, they will be asked to block you, to never contact you again. But that is only after, you know, attempts of trying to reconvince you to come back. Yeah, guys. So if you might wonder if I still do have contact with people from SCJ, I do. I still have people there that I hold dearly and I value. And I do check up on them. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't respond. And I have come to a point where I respect their beliefs and I want them to also respect my decision to leave. And yeah, like I can see someone from SCJ, I will give them a hug, I will greet them. We don't have to talk about SCJ. We don't have to talk about me leaving SCJ. So after I watched Laurie's video, there was details on how to contact him via email. So I emailed him, and I was basically in the email, I was like freaking out. I was like telling him who I am and that I'm like questioning my faith and that like I'm terrified, I'm scared. So he immediately, like so fast, responded, and he responded via WhatsApp because I have left my contact details in the email. And basically, he helped me through it. He helped me a lot. I'm actually very, very grateful that he was there in my journey. I was really, really in a bad place, and Laurie basically helped me get out of that place. And from the moment I left, I thought I was never going to find happiness, and it felt like there was no happiness outside this group. It felt like there wasn't any more motivation, because remember when I was in the cult, most of the motivation was based on spreading the word of God, doing the work of God, doing the duty that God had entrusted you with. That was motivation, was applied to that, nothing else. So coming out of this place and like sort of almost having no concept of what duty is when it comes to God, or how serving God looks like out of this place, or like what does it mean now in terms of the relationship that I have with God? What does it mean that I'm now out of this place? I think in order for you to understand what I'm saying, you need to understand how convinced that a person is when they're in SCJ. And then when you come out, it's like you're going against everything that this group that you belong to considered as right, or for 3 years that you believed that God considered as right, coming out of this place, I was so demotivated. I didn't have motivation to do anything, to even go to school, guys. I almost dropped out of school because there was no motivation. It was like, what now? What am I doing? I had to find my value again. I had to learn myself again because, I lost myself when I was in that place. I became like a shell and I was not having my own identity. There was no individuality. There wasn't a thing of me, myself, and I. There was almost what we now call in occupational therapy is institutionalization. That concept of when someone has been in jail for so many years, they go out and if you have watched Rookie or Rookie, no, it's Rookie, you will understand. There was a scene where a guy was in jail and he was in jail for so many years and then he came out and then once he came out after a few months, he went back to the police station and he was asking to basically go back to prison. And then the police officers were like, we cannot, like, you need to commit a crime in order for you to go to prison. So it doesn't work like that. You cannot just request to go to prison, And so I think he took a gun and tried to shoot a lady so that he can just go back to prison. And the reason why that is because he was institutionalized and there was this fear, this overwhelming feeling of now having to adapt on to the outside world. Guys, there's a bug, and it's really difficult to come out of a place where all your decisions are controlled. Someone is actually making decisions for you. You are told when to sleep. You are told, when to eat, even though it's not like, okay, now you can eat. No, it's that I have training now. I have training this time. I have training this side. So the only time that I can eat is this time. So it's almost like you are so controlled in everything that you do, because there's this tight schedule that must be upheld. So it's really scary and difficult to come out of a place like that. And maybe also that's why people still stay there, because of the institutionalization that they endure there. But yeah, guys, so I just want to say that if you are in SCJ and you are doubting, or if you are just in SCJ in general, I challenge you to look at alternative perspectives of what SCJ believe in, so that you can make an informed decision that you are not given at the beginning of your journey to entering into SCJ, because what you are given is only the information that supports their beliefs. I really, really challenge you to question your faith, to question the actions and the behaviors that are performed in SCJ, for you to come to a conclusion that you are happy with, whether that's staying in SCJ or coming out of SCJ. And if you're in SCJ and you are scared to leave SCJ, I want you to know that there is support. There is support out there. And if you ask for help, you will receive help. There is hope. There's happiness outside of SCJ. And even though when you come out, you are questioning yourself, you are doubting yourself, you don't, guys, sometimes you don't even feel safe with yourself, because that's how you were made to feel in SCJ. Because the flesh is weak, and you cannot make decisions by yourself. So like another person with a spirit of God must make decisions for yourself. And those type of things, they make you doubt yourself a lot. I just want you to know that you will go on a journey, on a healing journey. It might take time, might take effort from you, but you will get there. You will rediscover yourself. You will find value in other things. You will find your value system again. And you will have a different perspective on the world, a perspective that brings you peace too, and that brings you happiness. And you will find happiness in the little things that SCJ tells you not to find happiness in. You will find happiness once again. And happiness will not become a destination, but it will become a journey once you're outside of SCJ. Yeah. So that's my message to everyone that's in SCJ, or that is scared to come out of SCJ, and that is someone who is scared to question their faith. You don't have to be scared. There's actually other perspectives that you can consider and evaluate for yourself and see what is true. SCJ is not the only way. Might not be the way. But anyways, guys, yeah, so how my perspective changed is that once I came out of SCJ, with explanation or without explanation, I actually started to understand why people believe in the things that they believe. And that brought me to a place where I do not judge anyone for believing in what they believe. If you are a Muslim, if you are a Christian, if you believe in the holy fire, whatever you believe in, I am nobody to judge you. And it's not my place to judge you, because you have went through your own unique experiences. And it's also not my duty to try and to convince you to a specific religion. It's not my place to try and to convert you to a belief that I believe, because being in a cult actually exposed me to the weaknesses that we have in our belief systems, to the weakness of the human mind. Although the human mind is powerful, it has its own weaknesses. And I got to realize that. So I do not question anyone based on their beliefs. I do not judge them. And I will never ever try to convert someone to my belief system or to believe in what I believe in. And if that's an unpopular belief or value system that will get me cancelled, then so be it, because I will stay true to myself and I will not try and please the next person or someone who's watching this video. And what else? Yeah, and it, after coming out of SCJ, experiencing SCJ, it gave me an open mindedness perspective towards the world. I am more open-minded now. I can entertain beliefs, topics, ideas that I find uncomfortable, that I find conflicting, without judgment and without placing myself the necessity of believing in what I am listening to. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't have to believe in everything that I'm being exposed to. I have the right to not judge, but like to question, to try and understand the beliefs that I previously found uncomfortable or ideas that are conflicting. Like I can sit and listen and not be judgmental and just question and with curiosity. And I think I have become more kind towards other people. I think my belief system that I developed in SCJ made me, how should I say, not entertain or not value other people's perspectives, especially the people that were not in SCJ. So like I didn't tolerate someone sharing their ideas with me, and I feel like that made me less kind, because then I wasn't listening to people. I was only listening to either oppose or to answer them, but not to actually understand, if that makes sense. But yeah, for some reason I just feel like I'm kinder, guys, than I was when I was in SCJ or before SCJ. And I think also being in SCJ made me realize, like, there is a bigger world than, it's almost like my mind opened up to a bigger world than this little world that I was in, or that I placed myself in. That is all for this series of how I joined a Korean cult unknowingly. I'm so glad that I managed to finish this story time, and I hope that I did address all of your questions. And once again, thank you for your comments. Thank you for your encouraging comments. I really appreciate it. And if you have further questions, please feel free to ask. But yeah, thank you for watching. And guys, I think I have established now that I am not able to post a video every week. So trying to balance everything, my school life, my love life, my family life, YouTube life. Balance for me at this point means that I will post a YouTube video whenever I can. Unfortunately, I can no longer say twice a week or once a week, because I'm just scared to not meet that commitment that I am setting with you guys. Because school is hectic. This is my final year of occupational therapy. Oh yeah, guys, sorry, we'll end this video now. So what happened was that after I left SCJ, like I told you guys, my whole world was turned upside down. I couldn't focus on school. I wanted to leave school. So what happened was that I took Miss Helga, you are my personal heroine. You are, I can never be thankful enough for you. She was a lecturer at my lecturer, yeah, at school, and she actually encouraged me to only just take a semester break. Guys, it got to that point. Yes, it got to that point where I wanted to leave school. Yeah, and thinking about it now, it's it's like horror. It's horrific. Like what, you know? But yeah, so I took a semester break, and then last year I repeated my 3rd year, and this year I am in my final year of occupational therapy. And this year, my motivation, my drive to actually learn and grow in this career path has returned. So, or you know, I have rediscovered that again, and I am so much happier, guys. Can you tell on this channel how happy I am after I have left SCJ? I am so much happier. I met the love of my life. We are building a life together, and I have built a better relationship with my family. Yeah, and I have strengthened the relationship that I have with my best friend, who is my cousin. And yeah, guys, life is just full of happiness in doses. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, guys, I have been rambling on. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I've been recording this for a while now. I need to go and type my treatment plan. Probably gonna be sleeping late today. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Excited to be on the screen again, guys, because someone also in the comment sections asked me that because someone also, yeah. Anyways, guys, let's start with the type of tactics that they used. So guys, let's start with the tactics that they use. Why can I not say the word tactic? It's a tactic. It's a tactic that you use. If they're plural, it's tactics. Okay, so maybe we can start with the type of tactic. Baby, darling. Okay. So let's start with the type of I cannot say the word. Tactics. So let's start with the type of Wow. Okay. Guys, I did my hair and my hair is puffing up. I don't know what's happening. Guys, let me stop. Guys, also please excuse the lighting because I'm shooting at night, so the lighting is. If you haven't watched part 1 and part imagine just getting up in the morning. I thought that's a spider. So coming out of, oh my god, there's a bug